Yes, finally, round 5 and the Raiders are on the board. Most coaching theories these days, Steve, start with defence, and the Raiders have been letting in about 5.5 tries on average per game. Only the 2 today, and that made a big difference because they were able to build a platform for their attack.
The key today for it really was probably a lacklustre game, but nevertheless, there's a lot of good things that came out of the game for Canberra. And Wally was spot on there when he spoke to Laurie Daly, is that their defence was much better. It was much better organised. There was a lot more urgency in the defence. Okay, they're improving there. Now they've got to look at their attack. There are some concerns there, which we'll probably talk about a little bit later on. The world must be starting to look a little bit better for Melbourne. Simon, is it something, you've been in sides that have been down before. Is this the sort of thing that can ignite a real revival?
Well, I don't think you lose 4 games on the trot, you're not going to turn it all around in one game. And as Laurie said, they came out last week against Brisbane, and that was a good game. The first half produced a lot of good football last week, and this week I think they didn't quite play as well as they did in the first half last week. But the important thing, as Laurie said, for the whole club, not just Laurie Daly or Mel Meninga, is they got 2 points out of it, and their hopes are alive for the year. They have something to play for next week.
Simon, being a back rower, Ferner had a great game today.
Yeah,
what did Ferner roll?
Yeah, he did. He had a really good game, and he wasn't out there running off Ricky Stewart, like he normally does. He worked with the halfback he had, and he worked with Laurie there to set up the last try. I think the key factor was Ferner was having a good game in the first half, but you see Ruben Wiki came out in the second half and really, as Wally said, I think he ran like a Ruben of old. He's very hard to stop when he's determined, and I think he may have got a bit of a rocket thrown his way at half time about the way he was playing, and he came out, and I think that was the difference for them. They had someone else to support Hetherington and DeVico, up the middle.
Any win is a good win, but looking over the other side of the ledger, Graham Murray, we heard Noel Goldthorpe say he was pretty happy at half-time. Well, he
must be very disappointed now, because in every game they've played, all 5 rounds, they've had a chance to win. They're in position to win, and they can't get across the line, can they?
Exactly. There was too many missed tackles, too much of that. A lot of drop ball, and you saw in that second half that the Mariners were trying to get Canberra on the edges. Now, they did that pretty well on the right and left-hand side of the field. But what happened was, at the last moment, they forced the ball, dropped the ball, gave it back over to Canberra.
Steve, Simon, you're both very experienced players. From up here in the grandstand, it's easy to call what you think players should be doing, but running straight would be a good start, it would seem to most fans. Now, how come a coach can't get his players to run straight?
Go on, you take over. You're playing.
I think we had a game last week where nobody in our team ran straight. I think maybe there was one time where one of our centres straightened the ball up, and we had poor defence to go with that. And when you're in a slump, you're always trying too hard, and the hardest thing to do when you're in a slump is to go back to the basics and just bang your head against a brick wall, and that is just hitting the ball up hard and straight.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you haven't got a great defensive team, or you do a great effort, you have 6 aggressive tackles, right, time and time again, then surely that gives you a lot of confidence. I can run this ball up, and your attack falls into play.
Yeah, well, that's all part of it. It's a whole package deal. If your defence is off track, you're not hitting on your shoulder, then you don't have that confidence. You do a bad run, you run a crossfield, you get belted. Next time you're a bit hesitant. So it's a whole package deal. You have to really. I think the trick to straight running is aggression. And as we saw out there, David Ferner was a standout player because he consistently ran straight. And in the second half, Ruben Wiki, who is usually a very aggressive player, comes out in the second half and really straightens the ball up for them. That provides, if David's going forward and Ruben's making good runs and the 2 props are going forward, then Laurie Daly's got a bit more space, and you see Laurie had a hand in the try in the second half there with David Ferner, and once again, the straight run.
Well, it's not your concern just quickly either, because you play for the Bulldogs and you want your boys flying up tomorrow.
Yeah, well, as I said, we misfired last week. So Canberra and Hunter, 1 from 5. And as you say, it's not my concern.
We'll have a look at your game against the North Queensland Cowboys in preview in just a moment, but for now at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, Fox Sports News will bring us all up to date with what's been happening in the world of sport other than Super League. And Caroline, seriously, the good news for golf fans at least is that Steve